Just joining us, where have you been? The Speedchess Championship final is underway. So, with about 30 minutes left here in the 5-minute portion, what do you expect from Hikaru to keep things close here before we move to the faster 3-minute?
I think he needs to continue doing what he's doing, but obviously he's going to have to play a little better. That last game had potential. There was potential last game. Okay, he got beaten in that position soundly, but the other alternative, which is like here, he's going for the King's Indian setup. I'm very happy to see the other alternative is not more promising. The games take longer, and you still have a reasonable chance of losing, being ground down by Magnus. So I still think he should be going for those positions. I'm happy with his opening choice, but he's going to have to just simply play better there. Like he's not handling the positions as well as he could. That last game, he was very relaxed, but there was no plan. He just put his pieces on the right squares, and Magnus puts his knight on g6, and becomes clear that that his initiative was a lot better than Hikaru's. But he just blundered last game, right? Like I thought his position was still quite playable until that blunder. So this is what we want to see.
Yeah,
this is what we want to see.
Dynamic
Although the way Magnus is playing this, it's not going to be easy for Hikaru to get some f5. Is not an automatic move anymore because you really just improve your opponent's excellent fianchetto bishop on g2.
No, it's
you have no presence.
A monster in the waiting there. You almost want to keep your knight blocking the e-pawn to keep this bishop out of play, but it's hard for black to have any other real active breakthrough when you've got the rooks on f8.
This is very uncomfortable. I don't know how it happened so quickly. Magnus finds a way, but h4, maybe bishop h3. Hikaru's gonna have to sit tight here.
Yeah.
Any pawn, if he's pushing his pawns, we're opening up the position. I'm favoring the bishops in some of these lines. Unless here his idea is to maybe play knight e5, knight g4, and block that diagonal, because otherwise white's going to play bishop h3. And
yeah, I was going to say it's not a bad idea, especially if you could maybe get this knight from e7 to back it up to e5. But Magnus isn't going to wait around. He immediately grabs that diagonal.
Queen d6, g4, and just so thematic. Open up the position with two bishops. But what happens if you take?
Pawn on the G spot.
Take.
This is your favorite kind of attack right here.
It is. He's.
This is
take on g4. That's the line. You have to take on g4.
He has to
what
take
other
on
move
g4,
is there?
and here comes h5. No, I think.
Well,
g4
h5. Whose king is going to be? Okay, Magnus is going to play king h1 probably.
Yep.
But Hikaru maybe gets bishop h6 in, gets some pressure on the f file. Here. Okay, well, we're going to get a very sharp position, but intuitively favoring the bishops.
Yeah, I think you have to as the position opens up. But you're right that, Hikaru's rooks are also ready. And here
I like it. Knight e5. Bring all the pieces in. Who's ahead? This is good.
Gain a tempo. Take back probably with the I was going to say probably with the knight, and now h4 is falling. Okay, so Magnus gets rid of the
rook
the
takes.
Knight.
Rook takes.
Got to take with the rook. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to. One issue, again, is this bishop on g7 would like to be on h6 or somewhere else.
And it's too late. Magnus is just so good at anticipating opportunities for his opponents to improve pieces and then denying it.
Watch for knight g5 and knight e4 in some lines as well.
Bring that pony into the nice looking e4 spot.
But here, like even the end games, you see black pawns on the dark squares. That's not good for this bishop on g7. Magnus has the queen is well placed on g2, hitting b7, also putting pressure on g6 and protecting the king. All at the same time.
Do you ever feel that way, where someone else is just always one step ahead of you? I mean, I feel that way every day, but yeah.
I feel that way a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. With Magnus, it's
Did Magnus blunder the h pawn, or is he trading it for the b7 pawn? I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's trading it, but
there's queen f2, right? You don't.
Okay, so queen f2 is.
Queen f2 protects it, but I don't think he anticipated this.
And I think it's likely we'll see a draw then on queen f2. But you highlighted the pawns on the dark squares for black, Eric. But if they trade on f6, this h4 pawn is immediately under fire, right?
That's right. But so you're saying if queen? Well, I'll take back with the king on f2. If queen f2, queen f2, king f2.
I was saying queen f2 is met by knight g4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then queen f6, bishop f6. But
yeah,
because the e3 square is also under fire from the.
That's right. No, I think you're right about that. And if they manage to trade off. the bishops and the queens, then black should be okay.
Yeah.
The draw is totally fine for Hikaru. He's got to recover after every loss.
You just don't want to lose the next game, right?
Don't want to
The
lose the
old
next
stop the
game.
bleeding theory. Don't
I still
lose
think
two
he
in
can
a
win
row.
some of these positions, but I really think Magnus is a bit more warmed up.
Yeah, Magnus taking his time here, and we see him down.
Well,
on
he
time.
might be considering king e2, giving up this h4 pawn for whatever reason, and getting in whether it's queen d5 check or some tactics on the light squares.
Magnus really wants to win. He plays knight f4,
so
giving
if
up the
queen
h pawn.
if queen takes h4, there's queen d5 check, but I think he's planning to play queen takes b7, and that would be very dynamic. But black's structure would be
super risky, right? Because black can even look to move like g5, and if the knight moves, then maybe there's.
There's also queen c8 check and queen d5 check. It's actually black's checks. You have to watch out for those.
Yeah,
Somehow Magnus is ahead
it.
in these. Yeah.
He decides I buy the bluff, and I'm gonna protect my king before I take h4. Okay.
No, this was Magnus' idea to lose the h pawn and win the b7 pawn. And then c5 is going to be a real target.
Isolated pawn on the dark square.
So maybe queen g2 now? Queen g2, bishop h6?
Yeah, I like
what
bishop
happens
h6.
if bishop h6? Because then, knight g4, bishop h6. Okay, he's going safe.
Yeah, playing quickly there by Hikaru. Maybe I wonder if he had a better opportunity with your bishop h6 move. But okay, now he needs to...
I think the bishop on g7 needs to move off its square ASAP.
The closer we get to the endgame, what you prophesized is true, which is that the c5 pawn will be on a dark square, which favors white, because now this bishop can eventually target it.
Queen f5 here, by the way. Maybe queen f5, preparing g5, so that I'm not running into knight h5 forks, which would have happened if g5 was played right away.
Yeah. Okay, but now
this is good. This is what I was waiting for. Maybe he might go queen b7 anyways.
I guess I was worried about moves like queen h2 to pin the bishop, but okay, no, I guess that's not such a worry.
So now, in some of the end games here, so yeah, queen e4. If you go for the bishop, the minor piece end game was you can play knight f7.
Yeah. Okay, I was just going to say, what is the evaluation of trading knight for bishop? I mean, now I feel like this has to favor Magnus. Because the c5 pawn is a target to the dark squared bishop.
There's some dynamic decision here that I'm still trying to understand, but there are some benefits to this. It's going to be easier for him to push the g pawn. I think he's going to play king g7 potentially, although queen e8 might be king g7, king
you
e6.
have to worry about moves like b4 even. We're taking advantage of the fact that the knight can't move, right? Because bishop
b4 because of bishop e5. So no, the tactic normally it's favoring the bishop, open position, centralized queen. But he's seeing something here.
Hikaru wants a dynamic chance, but heading to an
He likes his knights. Yeah,
it's the bullet bias in him, right? Loves the knight. Yeah, but these are just straightforward things we've been talking about, right? We know that black has these potential weaknesses on the dark squares, and now Magnus is going to execute against them. An instructive point for all the viewers, right? You have to be aware of what your weaknesses are long term as you transition and trade pieces.
Yeah, if queen h5 check, there's queen f3, and you're blocking all the checks and still hitting c5.
I love Magnus's chance to win now.
Oh, he's just going to put his king on b2 and say, look, we're going to play queen. Okay, no, that's not happened yet. But if he gets his king on b2, it's just going to be a free roll for white. He's got the queen and bishop targeting all of black's weaknesses and the king on h7.
So what's he doing here? Playing tickle, right? If the queen goes to g1 and back to g5, I'm going to guess Magnus plays bishop f4 the second time around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, he's offering a queen trade to make sure he can walk the king.
Yeah, queen g4, king c1, and then he gets his king on b2. He's going to be very safe.
Yeah, so it becomes a position where there's only one real positional weakness, which is the c5 pawn, and black is on the defense. And
are we going to see that? What am I missing? If king c1, queen d5, then just anywhere really, and just play the position out now. There might be queen h4 check. There might be, but you don't need to rush this. You don't need to rush this. This bishop will be very, very good.
In a hurry. The c5 pawn is going nowhere. Yeah, even
if
bishop f8, because now maybe there's queen h4 check and queen h6 ideas.
Yep. I was gonna say maybe now king. I want to play king g8, king f7. I'm still getting hunted down. Like king g8, queen e8, queen f7.
No, but I can trade and take c5, right?
Yes, yes. So he's going for this. Maybe the king wants to go on g6 and walk along the light squares.
Well, it's the best chance, right? Create counterplay with the g pawn before the c5 pawn gets ganged up on.
Is knight e5 an option right now? Knight e5 moves like queen a5 become real annoying.
He's going to go for it. He goes for knight e5.
If queen a5, there's knight takes d3, queen check, and queen f1.
He's got
knight takes d3, knight takes d3, queen g2 check, and queen f1.
Magnus
exactly.
Blundered. And Hikaru gives a scowl thinking
queen
he blundered.
check, queen check, and
then check on the f file every when he picks up the bishop, and Hikaru's gonna hold, and with the g pawn he might actually have some outside.
Hikaru's pushing
he's
this
got
right
winning
now.
chances now.
He's gonna walk his king along. Yeah.
In a grinded out endgame where you have a bishop hitting a sitting duck like c5, there's no way that wasn't a blunder by Magnus. He just didn't see this.
Take queen b6 check first to defend b4, king h5. Oh, I mean, black's a little bit ahead here in the race, but with both kings so exposed, somehow these often turn into repetitions or draws. But we'll see, because if they have queens on the board, so if someone gets two queens, you almost always mate with two queens on the board. So the race is still very important.
Queen f2 with check to guard the pawn, followed by g4, and Hikaru's going to hope that the g pawn tells the story.
So queen check, king b3, g4. White can push now or position the queen first. Okay, he's going to check, allow the b pawn to run. Really liking black's position here because the pawn ever goes to yeah,
it might just end up repeating. Hikaru.
He didn't want to go forward, huh?
Okay, but
was there some?
And there's no way Magnus wins the race unless there's some sort of mating idea.
Well, Magnus has queen check, and he can sacrifice his queen. Worst case. So right now. Oh, but then there's a queen b1 check at the end.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
But who's? This is complicated.
Eric is calculating
These guys need to calculate this.
Where eventually there's a queen here skewering the king on b3 to a b8 queen. That's something to keep your eye on. You're too fast for everybody, but that line
these guys as well. I don't know how they're so comfortable moving around.
I know, queen
there's
endings
two
are
queens
about
coming.
as nerve-wracking as any endgame, right? I mean, you just every move is a potential blunder.
But black is the one who's doing well. I mean, it's either going to be a draw or black.
Look at this
queens
idea,
first.
Eric. He's walking his king to g7 in hopes that he can play queen f7 check.
And then that skewer you mentioned, right?
And then you've got this backdoor skewer at the end of the line. Okay, he goes back, but I'm wondering if Hikaru will see this idea. With only 40 seconds on the clock, maybe he's getting nervous and doesn't want to play for the win.
I think he wants to, but he's just not seeing it.
Yeah.
So let's say king g6. There's other checks around. I feel like Magnus can still dodge that idea, but that is a trick for sure that can lose the game.
Yeah.
So he's moving up the board.
Yeah, where's he?
To me, best case situation for Hikaru is if they both queen. But yeah, can he get his king to f1
or something? If he repeats enough, we're just going to see a draw. Okay, now he's allowing queen g7 check, which...
Queen g7, queen g6.
Queen g7, queen g6. I guess probably you just have to keep going back. Or I know you have queen takes d4 there. Right? Picking up the pawn and guarding g1. Does that work?
It does work.
But
you do want to watch out that black can't
maybe
win a
Magnus
tempo
is
there.
Calculating queen takes d4 now. Okay, no, he goes for queen g3.
It's all about instincts here. All about instincts. They're not calculating everything.
I
too
don't
much.
think it's possible to calculate all the possible checking variations, so you have to...
Hikaru's going to have to play a little bit faster.
Is queen h2 going to be met by queen h3 or just a repetition? Queen h2, queen e5, back and forth.
Repetition. I don't think he wants to keep his king on h4.
I think that's how we're going to see the game end right here. As exciting as this was, I think we just get a repetition. No. Okay. The beat goes on.
I like it because Magnus is actually going down a bit on time, figuring out what is the most precise check.
Right.
And now the time is evening up here.
We've seen
we're seeing this as a perpetual,
before.
But any blunder will swing the evaluation. Like any wrong misstep. He's
going to play queen d7, and then king f4 can be met by queen takes d4, so he's got to go to g5. And then he sees that. But, I mean, this should still be a draw.
Yes.
But it's getting more and more. Whoa, he allows queen takes d4
He's allowing
with check.
it. He's allowing queen takes d4. He is allowing it.
He's allowing it. Okay. He thinks he's winning. Hikaru's confident here, especially as they both get
because
under time pressure.
if queen, yeah, like,
because if queen d5 there's king f2 and the queen is running out of checks.
That's true. He might be walking his king to the d file where it's sheltered a bit by the d3 pawn, and it's going to be hard for Magnus to find checks.
You use your opponent's pawn against them and shield your king like an umbrella. Okay, I don't know that it's going to work though.
I don't know either. Doesn't look like it to me,
yeah,
but it's an attempt. If he's still able to lose that pawn and still push for the win, then why not do it? As Magnus is now under 20 seconds. Okay, they agreed to it.
Hikaru, I mean, seems a little frustrated there that there wasn't a win, but it also wasn't.
We didn't